to draft my trouser waistband, I have my front trouser pattern and my back trouser pattern, and I'm going to be using it to achieve my waistband. So let me start working first from the front waist. Yeah, my front waist, first what I want to do is I would want to determine how wide I would want my waistband to be. You can use 1.25, 1.5, you can use as much as 2 inches, you can even use as much as 3 inches depending on what you're trying to achieve. So for me, I would like to do something basic, so I just want to use 1.5. So what I'm going to do now is, on this waist, I'm going to be marking 1.5 from the waistline downwards. So I'll mark 1.5 here like this. Here, this part of my trouser is my waistband, so I'm going to label it waistband. So now I'll move over to the back panel or the back pattern for my trouser, and then I'm going to also work on the waist area. So now on the back panel, you will notice that I have a dart on the back already. So what are we going to do about it? We would have to close it up before making our back waistband. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold it in like this. And I'll hold it down with glue. I'm not going to be holding the darts down the entire place all the way down. I'll just hold this part, the part I think I'm going to need for my waistband, which is about 1.5 inches or 1.5 of an inch. So I've closed it up. So now I'll go ahead and mark the width of my waistband, which is 1.5, just like for the front. So I'll be marking 1.5. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be cutting out this back waistband as well as that for the front. So watch me cut it out, please. My back waistband and I have my front waistband, but I'm not done with the waistbands. I still need to work on it. So I want to indicate the parts that are outside and the parts that are inside. So this is the part facing the outer seam side. I'll call it OS for my front waistband, and for the back waistband, this is the outer seam side. That is the part facing outside, and this is the center back of my back waistband. This is the center back side, and this is the center front. Okay, so we're going to need these markings for the next step. So I'm going to take my back waistband and I'm going to tape it down on a new piece of paper. So this paper, the new piece of paper is on fold, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is, you can see these markings I have on my waistband. I have the center back side and I have the outer seam side. So what I want to do is, the center back side is going to be on the side of the fold. Okay, so I'll place the center back side on the side where I have the fold, and I'm going to secure it down with a tape so that it stays in place. So here I have it taped down. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be adding seam allowance all around this pattern, this back waistband pattern. So I'll be adding half of an inch up here and by the side as well as down. But I want you to take note of something. At this point where when I'm going to add my seam allowance on this point, the top of my center back here, at the upper part here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be reducing my seam allowance here by 0.25. So my seam allowance there is going to be 0.25, but on the lower part here, my seam allowance here is going to be 0.75. Okay, and the reason is, if I just add half of an inch seam allowance all around, including on this point, it's going to have an awkward shape at the center here. So to avoid that, what I want to do is I'm going to reduce my seam allowance here by 0.25, and then I'm going to be adding it back down here. That way the shape is just going to harmonize. So let me do what I am saying so that you can understand. So up here at this point here, my seam allowance is going to be 0.25 or quarter of an inch. So this is my seam allowance for this point, this center back side. Then for this part, it's going to be 0.75 or 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so that's all you need to do. That's what you need to do for that part. So for the rest, just keep adding your half of an inch seam allowance. It's fine. So I have my seam allowances added all around this pattern. So I'm going to be cutting it out so you can see how it looks like. So I've cut it now and I've opened it up. You can see. So this is the entire back waistband. So I'm just going to label which part is the upper part and which part is the down part. So I'll be explaining why you need to cut your waistband like this. The reason why you should cut your waistband this way is because if you just cut it straight or you cut it in bias, you'll find that the measurement you have here at the lower part is the same as the one you have on the upper part, and this is wrong because as you come from down from your waist to the upper part, from your lower waist to the upper part of your waist, you have differing measurements. Your lower part of your waist is usually wider than the upper part of your waist. So if you make it the same, you're going to find that when you put on your trouser, you would have some gap inside your trouser on your waistband area. Okay, so to avoid this and to get a very nice neat fitting, this is what you should do. Okay, so that the waistband follows the shape of your waist. I hope you are following. So this is the front, but for the front, unlike the back waistband, you're going to be having it in two pieces. You're not going to be having it in one piece just like the back. So now I'm going to also place it on a fresh plain paper. So, and I'm going to tape it down. I have it taped down, as you can see. So what I'm going to be doing for the front is I'm going to be adding half of an inch seam allowance all around, just as I did for the back. So here I have added my seam allowance to half of an inch seam allowance around this front waistband pattern. So I'm going to be cutting it out. Here I have my front waistband, but this is not all we are going to be doing for the front side of our waistband, because as we know already, the two sides of our front waistband looks different, and the reason is one side of our front waistband is the zipper fly area. Okay, so for the zipper fly, you want to add a little overlap on your waistband to accommodate the zipper fly. Okay, so that means it's going to, the other side of your front waistband is going to extend a little bit more than one side of it. So one side remains the same. This is fine, this is one side, but for the other side you have to extend it a little bit for the zipper fly. So what I'm going to do now is I'll take a fresh piece of paper again, place this on top of it and secure it down with a tape. I have to secure down a new piece of paper. So what I'm going to do is on this center front side, I'm going to be extending this part by 1.5 inches. So you can use as small as 1.25. I'm choosing to use 1.5 in my overlap. So you can use between 1 to 1.5. So but in this case, I'm going to be using 1.5. So I will extend this part by 1.5, and that's basically all you need to do. So now this is the overlap area I was talking about. So I'm just going to call this overlap. And we're going to cut this out and you see how it looks. So I have the two sides of my front waistband, and this is going to be underneath. This overlap side is going to be underneath. So it's going to be something like this. So I'm just going to label which parts are the down parts and the side and the upper part. So this is up, this is outer seam side, this is the down part, this is up, outer seam, down. We have our front waistband and our back waistband.